All right, this is 5.2. I'm gonna do a quick video. The other video, 5.1, was 16 minutes. So let me make this quick. I may or may not give you everything you need, most likely not for 5.2, but you could at least answer part A. And then the following isn't necessarily like a huge stretch. So if I go back to Pearson, cancel, you can see that question one is going to be this graph that you see, and question two is very similar, but questions after that are going to be algebraic like we have on the second part here. So if we can, again, try our best, at least do part A. You should be able to then at least find part of part B, right? It says find the domain and the range of f and f of -1, or the inverse, sorry. So let's get started. This one, to find whether a function is one-to-one and you're given a graph, it says use the horizontal line. So by the way, for reference, the vertical line test was to determine whether or not a function itself, right, was a function. So if it fails a vertical line test, it wasn't. This one is a horizontal line test. Horizontal line test is to determine if f is one-to-one. Just for a quick reference, if f is one-to-one, then you can find the inverse. That's why the next part is talking about the inverse. So we'll talk more about this in class on Wednesday, but that's all there's to it, right? Is the function one-to-one? And in this case, look at that. Does it fail the horizontal line test? No. So it doesn't fail. So this one would be 1-2-1, right? It doesn't fail it. Now, if it was something like this, right? Remember, you used to have these functions right here. This is 1 over x squared. So if you had something like this would fail the horizontal line test. So that wouldn't be one-to-one. Sorry. Again, horizontal line test, yes, one-to-one. Horizontal line test, no, not one-to-one. So it wouldn't have an inverse. All right. That's all there is to it. Again, horizontal line test is it one-to-one? Yes, if it passes the horizontal line test. That just means that it does have an inverse. So let's begin with the next problem, the algebraic one. Same concept, just you have to do a little bit more work. So we'll do that. All right. So here we have f of x, and it's asking us, is it one-to-one? Or sorry, not asking us, it's telling us it's one-to-one. And I just said that if it's one-to-one, it just has an inverse, right? So look at that. Part A is find the inverse. Now, this is only possible because it's telling you that it's one-to-one. As you can see, they just literally give you one question on is a function one-to-one. It's just so that you can get an idea of the fact that we can even find an inverse, and that's because it's given that it's one-to-one down here. So this one, step one to find the inverse is going to be switch f of x to y. It just becomes easier to work with. So instead of it being f of x equals something, it's y equals 8x plus 9 all over 3x minus 8. It's an ugly 8, but it's cool. All right. Now, that's step one. Step two is swap x and y. So swap x and y. By the way, you should have learned this in algebra too. However, I'm giving you the instructions, so it doesn't matter. X is equal to 8y plus 9 all over 3y minus 8. Okay, so we swapped our y's with x and our x's with y's. That's it. So now we have to solve for y like we always have before. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because the algebra just gets a little bit tricky. So step 3, solve for y. Now, initially right now we're starting with 2 y's, but it should end up with 1. So in the interest of having some space for that, I'm just going to push this one down. Okay. Now I understand I can't really answer too many questions. So come on, can I click this? Hold on, I think it's because it's in this format maybe. No, move. Here, let me try this. Get it. Why isn't it working right? It should be disappearing. Huh. I don't know. So solve for y. Let's just do, I'm going to start some math here. If anything, I'll carry it over to the right going down. So first order of ops is multiply, cross multiply, right? So we have x times 3y minus 8. Now, I'm trying to gather the y's together. So I'm not going to distribute the x inside yet. So it might be a strategy I might need, but right now I'm just kind of playing it by ear here. So I'm just going to do that right now. That's my next step. That's what I'm left with. Now the question is, am I going to benefit from distributing the x? And I just don't think I will right now. So why not? Why not? So I'm going to distribute the x. So 3xy minus 8x equals 8y plus 9, right? So let's just combine the y's to one side, because again, my goal is to isolate the y. So I'm going to combine the y to one side. So I'm going to move the 3xy to the right, because if I move the 8y to the left, it's going to be negative, and I don't want a big negative like that. So I'm going to do this, 3xy, subtract it to this side, 3xy. But at the same time, well, we'll do it one step at a time, okay? So we have negative 8x on the left equals 8y plus 9 minus 3xy. Okay, we just move the 3xy to the other side. Now, at this point, I can, and I will, move the 9 over, because I just want y's together. All right, so at that point, that's what I'm left with. I'm going to continue down here. So I'm left with negative 8x minus 9 equals 8y minus 3xy. Okay, so with that being said, there's no easy way, right? It's just whatever makes you feel comfortable with algebra. This, at this point, is just algebra, right? So I can see almost that my y's are isolated. So if you notice, I'm going to sort of factor out a y, because again, I need them to be isolated. So this is negative 8x minus 9. And on the right is going to be me factoring out y minus 3x. You see that? I factored out the y because both these terms have a y. So I factored it out. That's what I should be left with. And I'm almost there, actually. Then I divide both sides by 8 minus 3x. 8 minus 3x. Okay. So at this point, we're pretty much done. This right here cancels out. And what I'm left with is y equals, and then it's whatever's on the left. It equals all this junk right here. So again, you see, sometimes it looks gnarly, but if you take it step by step, you should be okay. And right now, I'd plug it into the Pearson, but I don't currently have Wi-Fi. So what's in the bottom here? 8. Whoa, it's an ugly 8. Hold on, let me scroll down here. Get a better grip. All right. So negative 8x minus 9 divided by 8 minus 3x. I believe I copied that correct. So this, we're not done yet. You see how when we solve for y, naturally y is left. However, because this is not our original y, what I'm saying is that this y is not the one we started with up here. So there's actually a step 4. You have to rewrite this function. So this step 4 is the following. So step 4, rewrite as f of negative 1, which is just basically the inverse notation. So it'd be literally this. Same thing. Just need to rewrite it to confirm that, hey, this is not the original function. This is the inverse we found. Okay. So that's it. That's all that is to it. After you look at this, you can try, finding the domain and range. If not, we will practice that on Wednesday when we come back. Other than that, that is it. Try your best to get this sorted out for 5.2. Get started, at least part A, and that'll get you through about halfway. There's not that many problems, okay? If you have any questions, please email me.